All right, welcome back to the Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur Shift the Culture podcast. You had a long break. When was the last time we do a show? 2 or 3 weeks? 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks ago. First week I was on vacation, had to take a break. And last week, as you all know, that bad Gail Irma decided to ravish the Caribbean, and she was making her way to the Bahamas, caught the southern Bahamas. Fortunately for us in the north and New Providence and other islands up here, we didn't get it as bad, but I think there was total devastation in Ragged Island.
Totally, yeah.
Crooked Island got done pretty bad. Where else?
Selena Point, Auckland, yeah.
So the southern islands took a pretty big hit, and it's the inspiration for today's topic, because the other countries as well, Barbuda,
Yeah, Barbuda,
Antigua, like a few other countries.
St. Martin,
St. Martin, they
the
were like
French
completely
side.
flattened. So all our thoughts go to those people. I can't even imagine what that must be like to have everything gone, like everything, your home, and that's usually your biggest investment in your life, totally gone. Cars, everything just wiped out. So what we're going to discuss today is starting over. When you get to a point, and it doesn't have to be because of a natural disaster, because throughout life you go through things. You may fail at some things. Things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You may lose your home. You may lose, everything, and maybe a fire, maybe something else. But just things happen to where you have to restart the clock, and basically start over. So we're going to basically discuss that process, what it's like, and how to get through that. So Jay, what are your takes when it comes to starting over?
I think starting over could be a blessing, depending on the situation and the mentality of the person. The reason behind the restart, whether it be a project falling through and probably decimating your credibility or whatever, you have the opportunity to just take a step back, analyze the information, and rebuild based on the lessons from that experience. Personally, I had to start over.
Okay, tell us about it.
So I started out with
Maybe
having
I'll put you up?
pretty much, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good guess.
I started out
Please,
with
I
Heaven Touch
very
Photography, which was basically a wedding photography service. I did a lot of destination weddings, and I was involved with someone that didn't live on the island. And after that relationship went to crap, I didn't care about the businesses, and then it fell to the wayside. And as a part of rebuilding my brand and myself, I had to start from scratch. So the whole Jay Isaacs thing is like, that's my child. That's from the ground up. It's only 5 years old.
Okay.
And now more people know Jay than Lamont or myself. You know what I mean? So that's how effective it is. But I had to take so many different lessons. I had to realign my talents and figure out who was who, what was what, and execute.
Gail,
Yes, sir.
now, how much
Can
starting
we
over?
switch back? I don't like being in the middle.
Oh.
You don't.
You want to put the man in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, cool. This
Nah.
You see how woman is boss
This
people
girl
around?
really
Yeah,
likes-
this-
she
this-
acts
this-
very nice.
Yeah, light skin gal and these demands, man.
I know,
Anyhow,
right?
So, Gail, how
Yes,
much
sir.
have you had to basically start over in life at any point? And give us, tell us about that situation.
Well, I think if you're an entrepreneur, you've had to start over many times.
You might go up?
I
Check
have
it
no
out.
idea. Yes, it seems to be on.
Is it now?
Is it recording anything?
Let me see. No, I ain't get it. Hold on. One second.
That's-
I want to hear what you happy say. Huh? You can hear on Facebook?
Okay.
Well, I ain't getting to read.
We
Anyhow,
need
go
to
ahead.
read
Go ahead,
levels.
Gail.
That's it.
Yeah, I think as an entrepreneur, you have to start. You have to start over, I believe, many times. And I think if you haven't had a failure or you haven't had a reason to start over in business and personally, I mean, have you really grown? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, especially with business, I've started over many times. I've had many ideas that haven't really come to fruition the way I would have liked, or things that I thought were going okay. You suddenly hit a curve or a plot twist or a pothole, and you basically have to pivot. And I think the at the base of that is looking at yourself and really analyzing yourself. If it's your business, analyzing your business, making sure you know the why, why you're doing this, and if it doesn't align with what you're doing, that's an opportunity for you to be able to start over.
Mm-hmm.
So in my life, I've had to start over. Oh, I'm reading this book now, almost finished, by Damon John, called The Power of Broke.
Oh yeah.
And essentially it speaks to you losing everything. It gives you, or what's detailed in the book is stories of people who've had to start over, who
Yes.
are at that broke point. And honestly, nothing could motivate you better than that broke point where
Oh,
you're
yeah.
trying to figure out, okay, I have these bills, I have these expenses, what am I going to do
Mm-hmm.
in order to be able to save myself,
Yep.
essentially. And the book is really, really good. I've been speaking about it online at any opportunity I get, because it really inspired me as well. Because that point, what you can consider to be your lowest point, especially financially, can be one of your greatest motivators in business and in your personal life. And
It's like a shot of adrenaline.
That's
pretty much.
actually the only time you really figure out who you are
Mhm.
or what you're capable of.
yeah,
Because a lot of people, they get comfortable, and you never really get to discover your full potential because you are not tested. You understand? And funny thing, you mentioned The Power of Broke. I haven't read it,
Mhm.
but when it came out, it was like, this is what I live by to a degree. In my head, I broke. And it's like you said, it's a good form of motivation,
Mhm.
and it causes you to not get complacent, to not get comfortable, because you always have that, you operating off of like you lacking. So
Yeah.
you have to keep going to gain.
Yeah.
So I love that whole concept, The Power of Broke, because I use it all the time. Like I said, in my head, my bank account got 3 zeros. You understand?
Mhm. And
So-
you get very resourceful.
Yes, yeah, exactly, and it forces you to do so.
Yes.
Because you are at that position where you have to be,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't put themselves in that position, and they look at it from a negative perspective. And speaking about that, I had to start over professionally.
Mhm.
Professionally, fortunately, I have not experienced the loss like most people, and I guess natural disasters where they completely lost everything and they only have the clothes on their backs, shoes on their feet. I've never had that extreme loss, but you know my story. I was fired, and like a lot of people, their job is their only source of income,
Yeah.
especially when and I was about to be a father at that time. You understand? Girlfriend at the time was pregnant, had bills to pay, so at the time was pregnant, had bills to pay, and so it was a point where I could have looked at it as a bad situation or a tough situation, but I just had to focus on the positive, looked at it from a good perspective. I used it as an opportunity to do something for myself, to build myself up, and to create wealth for myself and my family from that point on. It was motivation as opposed to devastation.
Mhm.
So I think it's all about your mindset when you are in certain situations. It's how you look at it.
Yeah.
Because you can turn any situation into something good or bad. All about how you look at it. And I think throughout this storm, and it's easy to, I get it. It is bad.
Mhm.
It is bad. But at the end of the day, I tend not to worry about things that I can't control. I can't control a hurricane.
No.
Mhm.
You understand? Although many people thought that Jenny woman could control a hurricane, I can't, and nobody else can control a hurricane. So, yes, it's terrible, but what you should do from this point is be like, I have to move on.
Mhm.
I have to move on. If you continue to dwell on it, you will never move forward, and you will stay within that point.
I think a lot of people neglect the key part of that, which is looking at yourself. And it always comes
The
back
reflection.
to that reflection and looking at exactly what steps you took that led you to this point and what you can change so that you never come to this point
Right,
again. And I
right.
think that's a huge motivator as well. I am never going to be in this position again. I am never going to feel the way that I feel right now again. And then really looking at yourself or looking at whatever you've done in terms of business, personal, whatever, contributed to where you are at that point to say, okay, I know I don't want to do this anymore. What do I need to do to prevent that from happening again? And a lot of people have to start over, but they start over the same thing, that kind of way. Like they start over with the same formula or the same steps, get to the same point and be like, oh, I have to start over again. As opposed to, how can I change my narrative? How can I change, this whole thing? How can I change my situation? And then when you sit in that and you get comfortable in that grit, and you decide this is where I need to change, that's the only way it'll get better as well. Yeah.
So, what were the things you focus on, Jay, when the gal put you out? and you had to start over, what were those things that you focused on that allowed you to continue to persevere and move forward?
Pretty much, I focused on what it is that I wanted, right? I had to separate my emotions. I had to separate myself from my emotions, one. Because it's not good to make decisions when you're in those emotional states. You make some pretty dumb, stupid.
My air horn. You got to pull that one up. You got to say that again, Jay. I need to hear that again.
You need to separate yourself from your emotions. Making decisions with emotions is a horrible.
But you know what I like to say? Instead of separate, because we're human, right? Because people like to say, oh, well, Chrissy is telling me all the time, oh, you're so insensitive. Let me be in my feelings. I say, okay, be in your feelings. When you go in Super Bowl, you try to pay your bill with them feelings, right? What I say is, we human beings, I'm not saying that you can't be emotional, you can't have feelings about certain situations. All that is fine and dandy. But it's how you react. Do those emotions lead to your action, or what kind of actions do they lead to? You know what I mean? So these are the important things. Staying in control of your emotions. It's all right to feel away. You're sad, you're frustrated, you're mad. That's good. But don't stay there too long, and then you just end up making terrible decisions because of that. So you have to learn how to control your emotions, and that's what a lot of people don't do. And speaking of emotions, this is a good segue. A lot of the things that allow people to be so devastated is because they're so emotionally tied to certain things.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things that when you look at the big scheme of things that don't matter. Like my TV gone, my Jordan's gone, my car, like a lot of material things people are attached to, and they have sentimental feelings because of these objects, and it causes them to hold on and not move forward.
Right.
What you want to say, Gail?
Yeah, I was saying further to that, a lot of people are stuck in even certain time periods or a certain event
Break that down.
where they always bring up one specific thing
Or how good
that
it
would
was
be
back
stopping
then.
them from making progress
Nostalgia.
at this point in time. So even with the devastation, right, you can say, oh, my business was destroyed, let's say in Hurricane Jose, and I'm just using that.
No, that's a prediction, baby. Hold on, wait. Hold on. The power of the tongue. Hold on, let's go, Andrew.
I said what I said.
Let's say 92.
I said what I said.
Oh, Jose.
Okay, Andrew then, fine.
Thank you.
For Jay's sake. Andrew, right? And they will sit there and basically wallow in that for, when was Andrew, 92?
Yeah, 92.
So
Yes.
for 20 years to
Easily,
say,
yeah.
oh, well, I had that business.
This voice.
You know, I was,
The voice is back.
my business was on Wolf Road. Oh, but Andrew come and knock everything down, Lord. And da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And now after that, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up
And
until
they
that
holding
time
on,
period,
like
they holding on to that.
You know what
that validates every complaint,
Yes.
everything.
You know what it is? They become, like, those things become who they are. Like, they
Right.
make that, that's all they're about.
Right.
They tie their whole soul and everything they are to these things. Whether it be my grandma used to, read my stories right on this porch and this. And I get all of that.
Right.
But you have those memories. You know what I mean? And at some point, you have to move forward. As hard as it may sound,
Yes.
those things may be keeping you back from achieving what you actually want to achieve in your life. And so that's why we say you could look at it as devastation, or you could look at it as a springboard
Right.
to move forward.
Yeah.
Those are the things that help you cope. And so that's why I don't think you should be attaching these emotions to material things. Like when we usually evacuate from here when
Evaporate.
Sorry, I apologize. We usually evaporate from here.
From our undisclosed
Yes,
location.
yes. When we hear a hurricane is coming, because it's by the beach, the surge with the flood
flooding,
waters and
yeah.
all that stuff. And literally, the only thing I take with me that I really care about besides my family is my hard drives.
That's your
I take my
passport?
hard drive and the passport.
Okay.
And that's only because
documents.
And that's only because, I hate going to government offices, so
Yeah.
I don't want to go through that process.
It's
But
very
my
2 months
passport,
to replace
my
that.
hard drives. This TV could go. If my car flood out, all the furniture.
Everything could be replaced.
All these things could go because these things could be replaced. These things
Not
don't
the
make
TV,
me.
Lord.
You know what I mean?
I can
These-
take a TV home if I
that TV could go. Man, it costs plenty of money, but that could go. Those things don't matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have an issue with separating. But I mean, I can't tell someone what should matter to them, but
The point is to not let this be who you are.
right.
Yeah.
Right? So if you lose a TV, it shouldn't be that your whole life is devastated.
Exactly.
You
over,
lose a
can't
computer or
continue,
whatever.
You can't go on. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You can't make it
So
all
when you
about
have
those
people
things.
that find their purpose in a 52 or 60 inch, I don't know how big this is. This might be a 72 inch TV.
No. You better watch. Hey, people is teeth. You better watch out.
Sorry, this 13 inch TV. When you
With
find
the
your
dial.
purpose and being in this, then it's understood that, once you lose that, the whole world is over.
Right.
When actually it's not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now that was the worst situation you were ever in where you had to start over?
Yeah, that was my ground zero. Everything from equipment to living accommodations to quiet. Reevaluating the friends and picking different mentors to align myself from a business standpoint, because you really have to, like we talked about, reflect. You have to make critical decisions and start, like you say, emotional attachment to things, but emotional attachments to people as well. Because some people in your first endeavor or second endeavor didn't mean you any good, and you need to realize that this is the opportunity to cut the weight so you could elevate yourself to that next level. So I had to do that, and then I had to change my mindset. And then get into the trenches, and I did what I had to do from going to work for someone else and knowing that, hey, I'm only going to be in this position for a year to get capital, because we know how the banks go over here. They don't believe in visions or dreams or business plans and all this other stuff. So you have to go and make a certain amount of capital and then get out and execute. And I think what a lot of people happen for a lot of people, oh, I don't have the capital so I can work. And then be like, oh, well, this is easy. This is guaranteed money. Let me stay. Then they become miserable, and they have that back and forth with themselves. And then it becomes so scary, because if you stay in a position long enough, you put your eggs in that basket even if you don't want to. And then it becomes a very scary life or death situation. Do I risk this to do this? So the shorter term, doing what you have to do to raise capital is better.
Well, the point with that is really complacency. And it's really, really easy to get, like you say, into that routine, because now you're making money, yes, enough to make a living. So you kind of think, well, okay, I'm making a living. Maybe I don't need to start that business. Maybe I don't need to do this and don't need to do that. And I've seen people that have actually watched their dreams die, and I've watched it die, but you can't, the lead a horse to water concept, where you really can push people, and you can encourage them. You can give them all the YouTube links and all the books and everything. But
where's my tambourine?
You
all preaching in here
if you hit that rut, it is so hard to get out.
Yeah.
And I've seen people that, they hit that, and I will do this I will, when this is in place, this will happen. And they're in that routine, they're in that 9 to 5 or whenever. And it's really, really tough.
They're lying to themselves. They're lying to themselves to try and convince them, because they know a lot of people want things that they don't want to work for. A lot of people like the ideas and the concepts of things, but when they find out what you actually have to do, oh my goodness. Everybody want to lay in a nice bed, but don't want to help put down the foundation. They don't want to lay no brick. They don't want to spread no cement. They don't want to do none of that. Call me when it finish.
Yeah. And the AC on.
Eh?
Yeah.
That's when you all call me. A lot of people don't want to put in that groundwork, and that's why a lot of people look at these things. And
you know what it is too? Sorry, Greg.
No, go ahead.
People, you take losses, and that losing and that rejection, that could also be a contributing factor to that attitude as well. Because taking losses, but every single loss is be like, hey, I gotta try this again. Like, I gotta do this again. I gotta put in this work. I was here, and now I'm here, and that those losses.
But see, that's the thing.
And those losses are great lessons, because, okay, Kyrie stole the ball from me at this point because I bounced the ball like this. Okay, you know what? I maybe need to bounce with my dominant hand.
And this is what I was going to say just now. Exactly. It's all
you got to watch your tape.
It's how you look at it, because you could be discouraged, or if you're super competitive like me or many people I know, you're like, okay, all right, yeah, you win that one.
Yeah.
Next time, you can get it.
Yeah.
So it's all about perspective and how you look at the situation. It's easy to fall into that and just get discouraged. Man, I try and every time I lose. And, well, get better.
Yeah.
Jeez, stop crying. Suck it up. Get better. Like Jay say, go watch the tape and improve.
Yeah.
Go practice in the gym.
A lot of things, too, I think a lot of people as simple as this may seem, they speak a lot of negativity on their lives.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of power, not just wishful thinking, but there's a lot of power in how you think, what you put into your mind and what comes out of your mouth. What you project out there if you write it down on a piece of paper and you have a plan and you have your vision, you actually believe in your vision, you put in work, those things will eventually manifest itself if you're doing the right things and you have the right mentality. But a lot of people, they defeat themselves from the conception saying that, you know what, I really ain't gonna never make 100,000, so I can settle for 50. Then you know what happens? You really want 100, but then you end up with 35.
Yep. If you even start in the first place, and it's like I met someone in the store today. I went to buy some containers. There's a random dude. You know, he look like he from the hood. You know what I mean? Look a little roughish.
Ghetto.
Yeah, he looked roughish. But I was too surprised. He said something. I don't think I heard him. And then he said, you know, that's why I asked questions. He said, you know, he asked if I do food or something like that. I told him, yeah, I do cookies. He said, yeah, because I'm trying to get into, you know, because I do like the healthy, you know, the healthy version and stuff. I said, you should do it when you're starting. You know what I mean? And that's where it started. Oh, well, you know, you got to do this and do that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
for everything to be in place.
the one thing was the people he around continually tell him how he can't do it or why, or just discourage him straight through. And he was, and I felt good because he left the store encouraged just from what I was telling him. Like, I say, come on, do it. I say, Facebook. I say, you want Facebook? He said, no, I don't really. I say, listen, you want to make money? Facebook. That's the only thing I ever advertise on since it started. Facebook and now Instagram now and stuff. So you got to get online. I say, you could do it. I was encouraging him. You should do it. I was trying to, everything that he came as to why he couldn't do it.
You
I
negated
was coming
that.
back with a way for him to fix it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he left there happy. You know, he's like, yeah, man, thanks. And I say, listen, I want to see you doing it for Drew. So a lot of times it's people around us too. Like you said, it's not just losing your material things, but sometimes you have to
Lose people. Yeah, blow them
You have
away
to
with
lose
Irma.
people. And with a lot of people, that's the hardest thing to lose or get rid of is the people.
Because we have feelings.
We just have one comment from Rashida who says, failure helps make success.
Failure, with you, I find it hard for you to succeed without failure.
Yeah, you
You know what I
can't. There
mean?
is no
You
real
have to-
success
you have
story
to fail in
without
order to
failure.
succeed. You have to. You have to learn what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right. You got to learn adjustments you have to make. How to get better. Like failure makes you better. It's like you always watch Dragon Ball Z. It's like the Saiyans. When the
Goku's get
Saiyans-
beat up, you know.
When the Saiyans get break up and they heal,
Super
buddy,
Saiyan.
it's a wrap for you.
Super Saiyan.
They come back stronger. You understand?
That's all I'm
Like
saying.
Gail face.
Look at Vegeta.
I know you always watch Dragon Ball Z.
Look at
I
Vegeta,
think that's
right?
good, right?
Look at Vegeta. He is second, Vegeta.
Vegeta.
He is second to Goku, right?
Yes.
Probably will never reach God
Never.
level status,
Boy,
right?
He don't stop.
But look at him. He keeps pushing.
Oh,
he
man.
keeps evolving. And every time he gets to the level he thinks he could finally beat Goku, Goku
Goku
goes
better
out.
than him. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to stick with it.
So
Stick
that's
with it.
the whole iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
So
Yes.
if it wasn't for Goku, Vegeta would have never gotten that strong.
He would have been like Raditz.
Good
Because-
job, Vegeta. Rashida also says, people always have an excuse. You have
Yep.
to take whatever you have and use that. Once
Yeah.
you start, the rest will fall in place.
Yes.
Yeah. That's that thing. Once you start, that was the words that I used with Sasha for Happy Foods. She was sitting on the couch just like this, and she's like, "What do I need to do? Just start."
Yes.
It started with a piece of paper and a
Yes.
schedule, and now we 7 seasons in.
That's how it
Nice.
is. Shoot, just like this show we doing now.
Yeah.
How much time is it go around by in your house? I used to be carrying this damn heavy backpack with all this equipment and it's setting up wherever I could set up, and look where we are now.
Yeah.
Now you so you don't let you start. You start.
Greg had a home before, okay?
You start and you don't let nothing stop you. You know what I mean? It keeps
Yes,
developing. You keep advancing. It's just you got to change your mindset. I just heard a
Yes.
lot of people, and like I say, it's justifiable. I get it. I understand.
It's hard.
The hurricane take your roof. The hurricane take your house. I understand. And just use it as a springboard. This is a clean slate. And I heard some people saying this. Now a place like Ragged Island that was basically
Devastated.
wiped out.
Yeah.
Say, okay, now this is an opportunity. It's a clean
To
slate.
do something right.
Now
in the-
you could do something. You could start what the future of the Bahamas should be.
In the southern
and
nut,
you can
yep.
use Ragged Island
as a test.
you can use it as a testing ground to see. You know what I mean? Let's try this out.
Ragged Island people will be the best people
And
to
they
be
are
able to
yes.
do that sort of
They're
thing.
humble, they're
Yeah,
hardworking.
attitude is like-
Yep.
They would have the best contributions and the best ideas for how that may come to fruition.
Yes, and they are fighters. I mean, when I listen to the Ragged Island people, I was inspired because of their attitude, and they saw it as an opportunity to rebuild. Because they heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, they need to move. We need to just shut down Ragged Island, move the people out,
No.
and leave it."
Why?
And they were
So
like,
to sell
"No,
the land
why?
later?
Listen, they say we've been through worse than this. We just get electricity the other day. We've been through hard times. So why can't we rebuild again?" Yeah, they recently got power. They didn't have power for a long time.
Well,
Yeah, so it's like they're like this. We've been through struggles. We've been struggling. We know what it is, and the government wasn't doing much for us in the first place. So we could do it. We could start. I hear someone say, if you got to bathe in salt water, she can bathe in salt water. They can do what they have to do, and that's the kind of attitude that you have to have when you go through rough times in your life, whether it be like I say by a natural disaster or if you get put out, you lose your job, your mortgage, you foreclose on your home. You got to use these opportunities to push forward and be better in life, like Gail said earlier, so you don't end up in that position again.
Yep.
Let me see some comments. Let's read some comments. Can you bring the phone there? Let me see some.
I didn't care.
Bring the phone, please. What?
Read the comments.
You all read it? Okay, all right, cool. All right, so I guess we can wrap this one up. Gail, you staying for the next one, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm in an arguing mood.
Awesome. But yeah, people.
It's going to be
Argue.
great.
Yes, awesome. So people just, we get it. Everybody goes through hard times in life. You have rough situations you go through, but it's all about the mindset. You gotta have the right mindset. That's the only way you're gonna persevere. And hold on. Let me just address the Johnsons before we go. Right?
The Johnsons.
I know that's your favorite topic.
hero.
I'm actually a Johnson by birth.
Yes, I know that's your favorite
I'm a
topic.
Johnson by not birth. Just kidding. Just kidding.
So those who don't know, the Johnson family, Hurricane Irma was coming to the Bahamas. They said they
Hurricane Irma
took.
came to the Bahamas.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, but this is before it came.
Okay.
This was.
It was on
prior-
track to come.
Right,
It was a dangerous
coming
storm
to the
on track
Bahamas,
to come
Okay.
to
and they
Bahamas.
saw that, and they were like, "We need to get up out of here and go to Canada."
Yes.
And
Seek
a lot of
asylum.
They
Yeah.
saw an opportunity, and they took it.
and they took advantage
That
of
is
it.
How did they get on the-
fundamental
I really wanna know how they got on
business,
the-
okay?
That's
That's what you need to do. So instead of jumping on their back
Bang.
and cackling,
Bang.
y'all need to take a page out of them people book.
Yes.
Okay, you see that GoFundMe?
Yeah.
But
Did you see that?
Look at that.
Okay.
But I want to.
That's called blessing.
I bring them up because I bring it up because I wanted to address. I want to address an aspect of that because I saw the backlash and the hate that people had,
Yes, of
and it's like
course.
It's black
a
crap.
lot of people
It's black crap.
don't want you to move.
No.
If you
You
do
know what
something
it
they want to
is?
do, go ahead. What is it?
It is the lack of a consciousness of reality. Because we are here, we are living in this. There is something that motivated the Johnsons to do that, regardless of whatever the situation was, whether, I can't speak of whatever it was. There was some motivation that led them to do that. Bahamians can't seem to, I don't want to say accept.
Take actions?
I don't want to say accept.
They
right?
hated because
They
they didn't choose. They didn't do it first,
No.
and they didn't execute.
They don't want to accept the fact that people would want to leave here.
No. They know people won't leave
Because
here.
they won't leave themselves.
Here's the sad reality, and I brought this up.
We ain't talking about the few.
I brought this up on Empress's show. People were was like trying to compare. They're saying like Haiti or Jamaica, right?
Right, but it
But
is.
no. Hold on. It's all based on perspective. People south from us, they're gonna look at us, the Bahamas, as a place of opportunity for them. So they're gonna migrate here, right? We, as a country, we're used to certain things. So when we look to migrate, we're gonna look to either metropolitan cities like Toronto,
We looking whoever
Vancouver,
close.
New York. No. Not only that. No, we bougie.
it's okay.
We go into big
You see
cities.
nobody
Okay.
migrating to like France or Europe or something.
Yeah. No. I know people that
We
migrate
need
to France and
something-
Europe.
That ticket gotta be like 500 or less. We need something close.
No,
Yeah.
but we migrate to places where we see opportunity,
Perceived
and
opportunity.
they saw the opportunity, they saw the excuse
You know
of a
what I compare
hurricane,
this to?
they saw the good story. Okay, this is deadly. We saw what Matthew did. Let's run, right? The pastor paid the plane ticket, get the hotel. Now the pastor want money back from GoFundMe.
Not
It works for everybody. So stop dragging the people through the mud
Okay, what
and
about the
figure out
people-
your
what
own
about
plan.
The lady from the
The The lady from the
It was a cruise ship lady, and then it was
Jennings?
another gentleman who was speaking, who was speaking about all that other stuff, right? And Bahamas is up in arms.
Because we like negativity.
Not
We
only
gravitate
that-
towards negative
not only
comments so
that,
we can be negative.
We
Yes.
we don't have no grasp of reality. People are like, she wasn't saying anything that was so
Destroy the
wrong.
Bahamas.
But you know what?
That's what she said
Yeah,
wrong.
she said.
Anything, well,
She
besides
said-
that part.
She
Yeah,
said
she said
destroy the
something
entire
wrong. Besides that
Bahamas.
part,
That's
the part
very
where-
wrong.
What I think.
Oh, you're harassed.
What I think Gail is
Bahamas
trying to
was
say-
like, oh my God, she's lying. Oh, how could she say this?
Right.
Well, you sitting down, you like,
That
Right.
was harassment.
Right.
Calling the
Being
woman house
downtown.
at 2
Right, and I
o'clock
think
at
what
night.
Gail was
I
trying to
wouldn't
say
go on no jet ski.
when she said she wasn't saying nothing wrong, what I think Gail meant was her reasons. There was actually truth behind her reasons for her feelings.
That we
Yeah.
don't want to see.
That we don't want to address.
Yeah, and that's
and
true.
that's, and
That
this
is
is
true.
and this is why I brought
Okay.
up the whole thing. Is because we never want to address the actual issues.
Yes.
We never actually want to do something about something.
Right.
Right.
You understand? We just
We'd
want to
rather
make
complain,
noise,
yes.
cry, talk,